Whether you think of him as a good guy or a bad guy, I'm starting to think of Chucky as a wise guy given this last episode. So let's talk about it a little bit. What's going on, Dungeon Dwellers? Welcome back to Dave's Dungeon. I am your host, as always, the one, the only Dungeon Master Dave. Coming once again to talk with you again about a horror subject of some sort. It's been a few days and I've been away from you guys for longer than I'd like to because I got a little sick. Who knew that salmonella poisoning was going around the country, and I happened to get it for a couple of days. So forgive me for being away. I've kind of been sick to my stomach. But this isn't about my health. This is about Chucky. So let's get into it. I think the second episode did a pretty good job. I think everybody needs to be watching the series, and if you don't know where to check it out, you could check it out on USA, you can check it out on Sci-Fi, or you can check it out on YouTube, where they put up the episodes at least, I want to say, a day, maybe 2 days later. They'll put up the full episode on both channels, the USA Network channel and the Sci-Fi. I recommend the Sci-Fi channel's selection because they put up an extended full edition of the episode that has all of the special things they release for each episode while it's taping as well. Or, airing. Not taping, airing. But with that said, let's kind of dive into it. I really gotta say, I dig what they're doing plot wise. I kind of dig where the series is going, what they want to do with it, how they're forcing this new character that we're getting involved with to engage the world he's in, and it's not a very nice place. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. The area he's in is bad in a lot of ways, but it's affluent, so it's just gonna keep being bad. There's nothing that's gonna change about that, save for Chucky. So I really see how the show is setting up how they're gonna go about developing the action and everything. I really dig it so far. It was a little weird, this second episode. The first episode I didn't have any kind of hang-ups. But Chucky does something in this episode that puts me on pause. And we'll talk about it a little deeper in spoilers, but suffice it to say, I felt like it was... I mean, I get the understood philosophy and psychology behind it, but it was a little unnecessary. I even want to say it did everything to cause a problem for him instead of anything else. So I'm a little boggled by, again, as much as I'm gonna consider Chucky, Chucky's motivations here. And again, coming off of being sick for a few days, as much as I'm willing to do it based on what my past couple of days have been like, I'd give this thing overall a solid 8.5. It's definitely like B plus, A minus territory if you're looking at the way we usually grade things. But again, I think between the sort of randomness that happened there and the sort of red herring stop starts we get kind of took me out of it. And I don't know, it was just kind of, this may be hit or miss for some of you. Let's put it that way. It may satisfy what you want, and it may not. I don't know if this show wants to be comedy. I don't know if it wants to be horror. I don't know if it wants to be both or neither. But I don't know that it's figured itself out yet. I'll put it that way. And that's going to account for the detractions. Not to mention, I feel like it's struggling to fit in the horror where it wants to versus where it thinks it needs to. But that being said, I still think the horror moments it is developing work. They're really cool, really good. I can't say that it's necessarily anything overpowering. So the tension hasn't really built to anywhere yet. And the gore and everything, where you get it, it's not offensive, and it's not necessarily tame either. It's using gore effectively. I want to say that. I do want to say that. Victim killer and how that's going to work, I really got to say, I have no idea up to this point, but I'm thoroughly impressed with all the actors, including Brad Dourif, being able to act, 5 decades down with such young actors, and then being able to just, make it seem effortless. I really got to give it top props for everybody involved. They're not the weakness of this. If anything, it's going to be Don Mancini writing this thing into a loop or a corner. But those are always fun coming from him anyways, if that's where we get. That being said, I think that's going to do it for the non-spoiler section. So without further ado, let's get off into some actual details. And the first one I want to talk about, which, by the way, you have T-minus 5 seconds to get out of here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for joining me. But the one thing I want to get into here, because this video is not going to be that long, is I felt like it was all random, sort of out of place to kill the baby, or not the babysitter, but the maid. It's like there was nobody else home to kind of take the blame for that. There was no way anyone else could have done it. Why kill her? It just felt out of place, and it didn't ultimately get him what he wanted. It didn't get him anywhere. It didn't do anything that was going to be useful for him. Or if it did, I don't see it. I don't see where what he did matched up with the way I think about Chucky being very careful and very cunning. He's witty in this, but he doesn't seem wise. He's trying to go for certain things, and I don't know, given that this is a longer form show, how this is going to continue to play. We'll have to see. But it's kind of breaking containment early on what I would think would be, 8 to 12 episodes of a season of a show, or is this like a limited 4-episode thing? If it's that, then we're right on time. But I feel like, somebody's going to take the hint at some point. It's only inevitable that somebody takes the hint. And somebody goes, what is up with that? Whether they think it's the kid or not, it's going to be, what is up with that? And with the description given by the other woman, the other victim, I didn't mean to do bunny ears there for woman. I meant to say victim, but it's only like partially so. Because she doesn't die. She just gets, a razor blade in the mouth. I feel like that was more random, but less directly pointed at him. You understand what I'm saying? It's less involved at pointing in his direction and getting him in trouble. It's more the chaos that he likes to make. Whereas the housekeeper felt more, I don't know. It's almost like she shot him in the face with that cleaning solution, and that actually burned his eyes, and so he had to go get some payback or something, and that's what it felt like. That being said, he didn't emote that. That never came across. It just sort of, I mean, she cleaned him. It felt out of place. It felt sort of ham-handed why he would decide to kill her above anybody else he could have snuck out and got, especially given who he wanted to kill at that moment. This seems to bring heat on him in a moment when he wouldn't want it. Some of my hang-ups, some of my reasoning for taking points off. The other thing I want to, talk about is I like the way they're treating Jake. Jake's the character. Make sure I got the name right. I believe I do. Yeah, give me a second here. Make sure I'm... Yeah, Jake Wheeler. I feel like Jake is doing an excellent job of giving me that high schooler, giving me that awkward teenager, giving me that person that is in the right position to be pushed to a path of darkness. And I'm punching my mic again. Let me lower that out of my breath range. But he is being pushed into a darkness, and I really respect that, and I really see what they're trying to do there, and it kind of makes a lot of sense. And I like the way Chucky's doing it. It feels weird given he's asking for trust, and we all know not to trust him. Even if he's going to do something for Jake's betterment, it's not something I would trust. It's definitely not something I would trust. And to that end, I feel like Chucky, I don't know how to treat Chucky in the series yet. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he just a wise guy? Is he just there to maximize chaos and harm and do whatever he wants? If that's what this is, I guess I'll enjoy the ride, but I don't know. There's something awkward about all of this and the way that they're wanting to treat Chucky. But, I can forgive that. The other thing I want to say is that was screwed up. Let's see if I can actually... Lexi. Oh, Lexi, that was fucked up, Lexi. What you did. And Junior standing right there too. And they talk about it in the after the episode, how much that bothered Junior. And I was like, it didn't look like it bothered Junior. It looked like it bothered Jake. It looked like Jake was ready to come at her right then. And this is where I feel like the episode does the most sort of tug of war that I've ever seen going on here with its purpose and its plot, in that Jake is supposed to be getting bent and taken to this dark side by Chucky, right? Well, when Jake is the force stopping Chucky so often, and Chucky being the one who's trying to enact Jake's revenge before Jake even wants it, it feels forced, or it feels fast. You understand? It feels like they're trying to do this too quickly. I feel like even in the films, they took some time to develop how the relationship between the boy and his doll worked. Whereas with this, it feels like Chucky is older and has less time for all this. So it feels like Chucky is ready to go from the word go, and he's not messing around, he's not playing around, but he is. He's ultimately just being a scamp, giving the razor blade and the apple to the lady. Shows us from his childhood, because that's how the episode starts, from his childhood, what a scamp he was trying to be, the worst kind. But I feel like that's to the show's credit. It's showing us sort of how Chucky came to be, and it's showing us how from where Chucky starts to where he is now, and whatever of the past canon you want to count, he is an organism that's still alive and still developing and growing, and you're getting to see sort of the psychology of it all, and the psychology of a, relatively psychotic man stuck in a doll's body. That psychology, I don't know that we've ever necessarily asked for, but you're getting it in a way that makes sense. I want to say, given the way the series has gone, it makes a lot of sense. And I want to say something about something this episode tries to do, where Chucky talks about his sort of gender fluid child, and I want to go, yeah, which one? Which I don't know necessarily which one you're going to try to reference here, because on the one hand you have their son, Tiffany, and his son, from Seed of Chucky. I can't remember that thing's name because it was just hard to conceptualize, let alone remember. But it was started a boy, became a girl. Don't know where it's at. I think it's Alice now, from Curse, but I'm not sure. Given that, though, there's also Nika, who is, if you didn't know, Brad Dourif's actual daughter, who from Curse of Chucky to Cult of Chucky, got possessed. Well, this is spoilers on the spoiler section, but she got possessed by a Chucky, and so now Nika is a Charles, who last seen making out with Tiff in the car, and is that what they're drawing reference to, or is it Alice? So, because that matters to how deep in the canon the show will reach back. Could we see Chucky's child in this? And this goes to my first question about the series so far, and you've all had time to watch episode 1, and if you haven't seen it yet, it's on YouTube. Go see it. It's on the USA Network, or it's on the Sci-Fi Network with the extended version, which I highly recommend. But go watch that episode, and then tell me you aren't asking the same question I am, in that, how did Chucky get at a garage sale? And why that one? And, I mean, come on. Why is he at just that garage sale? And where is all of this starting from? Where is this at versus where everything else is at? I'm really lost as to where to place this comparatively with everything else. But I think that's not necessarily to the show's detriment, because I think they want that sort of thing where it could be placed anywhere at any point in time, given what's going on. But it also feels like the most modern iteration. So I don't know how everything played out to get us here. I feel like I need to go back and watch Cult again, because I've only seen bits and pieces of it, and it's the one film of this series that I haven't seen, so I feel a little derelict, or I think I've been derelict in my duties, and it doesn't matter. It's super early, late, whatever. Anyways, thank you guys. I think that's going to do it for this review. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. Maybe you thought there was something else wrong with the episode. Maybe you want to talk about something in the episode that really caught your attention and you really liked. But I think that's going to do it for me. If you would, make sure you leave a like on this review. It really helps YouTube know that you like the episode and that you want to see more stuff like this. Also, if you do, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you get notifications when I drop new content. Oh boy, it's been a long couple of days and I've missed you guys. But thank you so much for journeying with me this evening, Dungeon Dwellers. I hope to see you on our next adventures. Thank you so much for joining me, and make sure you check under your bed.